Okay, we just finished doing the inspection at 1200 Glenmore Drive, and I'm just going to do a brief video so that you can get a general understanding of like what we found and what the house is about. First thing we look at when we pull up to the house is where the water comes in, and it comes in at the southeast corner. There's 2 meters here. I know you can't see both of them, but one of them is over here and one of them is over here. And I think one of them is for the house, the other one is for the sprinklers. And I did confirm that when I was running the sprinklers by listening, and you can see that the digits weren't moving on this meter, but you can hear the sound on the other. That house was repiped. I don't really have a year. I think it may have been 2009. I think that's when the water heater was put in. We're not in the house anymore because we just wrapped up, so we'll be doing this from the outside. Basically, the main water valve is on the left side of the garage as it comes in. That's where you shut your water off, so that in case of an emergency you get to go here and turn that valve, and when you turn it, the water will shut off. I took water pressure and everything appeared to be normal. Also on this side is the electrical panel. One of the nice things about the house is it doesn't have any suspect panels or bad brand names. This is a General Electric panel. Service coming in is 150 amp. Okay, just a swipe of the breaker from right to left will shut all the power off in the house. Panels labeled, and you can see you've got your main service disconnect and then your pool sub panel. Now the roof was replaced in 2010, and I did walk on the roof. It was very steep in certain places, so I walked where I could. Like obviously that lower level I walked up there, but that higher level I did not put a foot on. It's too steep to walk on, but I got to see the vast majority of everything by going up to the second story, and it was just fine. Attic access was kind of on the limited side, but I was able to see some attic areas at this location where you're seeing, and it didn't appear to be anything recent as far as any problems. There was a history of maybe a previous leak in the past, but given the roof was only about 7 years old, it looks like we're dealing with a historical leak. You just pay attention to that if you should get some rains. The place to look would be in the master bedroom. At the right corner of that room, that would be the left side of the chimney as you're staring at it from here. So to summarize on the roof inspected well, shingles are good, there was no real issues there. Air conditioning unit, I've got Marcy behind me, so I didn't want to slam the door in her face. Air conditioning unit from 2001, the unit cools and heated just fine, but the only replacement part that I got information about was a compressor. The realtor said they replaced it. It looks new from what I can see on the inside, and I would just get the documents just to show who did it and what type of warranties on there, so you have it. This side of the building, really easy. This light doesn't work, and you're going to see a little note in the electrical section about that open junction box right here. You can see that. Dryer vent terminates right here at the soffit. This is above the back garage door, just so you know where the dryer vent terminates at. And you probably should find out about pest control, because there's a lot of ant activity going on in the property right now, and if they have a service, it's time to call for a retreat so that you can come in here without pests running around. Pool inspected pretty well. I had no issues. It looks really clean, surface looks good, light works. There are 2 pumps. One is for the pool and one is for the fountains, and you can see they're both on right now as the pool and the fountains are working. The equipment looks good. It's actually installed at the back left side. I guess that would be the northeast corner. And essentially, just one footnote real quick. Cracks like these that you see on the patio, they're pretty typical. You want to keep them sealed, because if water gets through them and continues to get through them, they can worsen over time. Right now, I don't look at that as a big problem. We look at that as more of a maintenance issue. Okay. Thank you. Pool equipment's back here. I do have some notes on this, but overall it's functioning just fine. Those are the 2 pumps we talked about. In the inspection report, you'll see things like just the loose ground. That's loose over here. Should tighten that up. Pressure gauge is not working and it's damaged. That's at the filter. And the valves should be labeled so that you know what you're working here. You see you got 3 valves right there, none of which are labeled, so I don't know what does which there, or which does what, I should say. So when we say to label the valves, that's what we're recommending. All the equipment seems fine. Okay. These boxes over here are the timer panels for the pool pumps. And then you have another one down here for the other pool pump. That's your electrical panel. And as I said earlier, these things seem to do just fine. This one's a little difficult to snap closed, but it does close. Okay, coming around the other side.
How about all the warming pipes on the roof? Are they all good?
Yeah, actually, when I was on, Marcy just asked me about the solar panels. And they are. I was up high enough to see them. There doesn't seem to be any leaking. They seem to have the solar actual panels on now. So when you're up there, you can hear the water running through them. And you have several panels. I mean, you got a couple up there, and then you got it on the lower level roof too. So anything with solar panels, just FYI, when it comes to heating, don't expect those to heat quickly. They take days, but the water will get warm. That's how they work. This side of the house here, we had this is the dining room window. Okay, in the dining room, you're going to see a photograph from your report showing some water damage. The water damage is likely coming from cracks at the exterior wall, at the sill. Okay, and it may be in part from the sprinklers. It would be a wise idea to have any cracks sealed, maybe even repaint the exterior walls if necessary. And you might want to either put some kind of a diverter on that sprinkler or terminate it just to prevent any more water from getting in there. It was wet when I was in there, and the reason I think it was is because I had run the sprinklers earlier before going to the interior, and that probably is what caused it to be wet, because all your plumbing runs in the attic space. There's nothing underground, and it hasn't rained recently, so that's the obvious evidence is that I caused the floor to get wet. The damage that was there had been done before, probably over a long period of time before anybody noticed. So this is pretty much the house and what it looks like in case you haven't seen it, or I don't know how much of it you have seen. I'm going to bullet point for you the major things so that you know what they are. The roof, 7 years old, good condition, no visible sign or evidence of leaks. Plumbing was redone recently, probably within the last 8 to 10 years or less. The electrical system is fine. I've got a handful of minor issues, but when you read them, you'll see that they are small. And then the air condition is older, but performing well, and at least one part has been replaced recently, meaning that you probably want to play it by ear with each repair you may face over the next few years to determine whether repair or replacement is the best option. But looks like a really good house, and then there's no reason why this can't be a good house for many years to come with the right people. Thanks for your business.